Hello and welcome to our expert workshop on Reyrolle 7SR5 Essentials. My name is Chris Edwards and I'm happy to be your moderator for this webinar. Our expert today is my colleague and good friend Ozan Onat, who is a technical product promoter for Reyrolle and is based in our office in Heaven near Newcastle in the UK. We will record this webinar and make the recording and the slides available to all registered participants. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them at any time during the presentation in the Q&A field. I'll then put your questions to Ozan at the end of his presentation so he can answer them live in the dedicated Q&A session. In addition, you can also use the chat field if you have anything other than questions you wish to contribute. Please be aware the chat is available in live mode only. Q&A questions will be answered via email if we run out of time during the live session. And just in case you are in full screen mode, press escape to see the Q&A and chat box. Ozan, I'm sure everyone is eagerly waiting and ready to learn more about Reyrolle 7SR5 Essentials, so I'll stop talking and hand over to you. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Chris. Hello, my name is Ozan Onat, and I hope you will have an efficient tool to address your interests. First of all, let me summarize what you are about to learn during this 1-hour session today. We will briefly talk about overall Reyrolle family and principles. After having an overview where Reyrolle stands in the whole Siemens smart infrastructure, we will focus on Reyrolle 5 series, followed by feeder protection, transformer protection, and motor protection. During our session, we will also underline important points that we should keep in mind that what makes Reyrolle 5 outstand. Okay, I think we can go on. Now, let's go. We believe that Reyrolle 5 is essential for any power network as it brings a cost-effective solution with comprehensive functionality and easy integration into the energy market that is becoming increasingly decentralized and digitalized. The Reyrolle 5 is a reliable and efficient system that has been designed to meet the need of our customers and ensure the safety and sustainability of our power network. With the new Reyrolle 5, we have listened to the changing needs of our customers. Principally, we provide many features as standard without leaving our customers to decide which one to choose from in a cost-effective manner. A range of proven protection functions, multiple communications protocols are also provided, allowing the user several methods to connect the device. Data records for power system fault summary. These all support effective management of the power network. Cybersecurity is a core feature, and Reyrolle 5 device continues the tradition of the Reyrolle brand, providing a simple, easy-to-use fascia, intuitive many structures, and free-of-charge engineering software tools. Now, after the initial summary, and before going any further with the details, I would like to share some historical moments with you. It has been 5 generations since the first numerical protection relay was introduced in 1985 under the Reyrolle brand. However, it is not the earliest year we started with protection relays. In 1906, 117 years ago, Reyrolle built the very first differential protection relay depending on the Merz price principles. It was a differential protection relay. This differential protection relay was applied in a 20 kilovolt line in Durham, UK. Some other examples maybe directional comparison in 1931, solid state busbar zone protection in 1946, transistorized distance protection in 1958, and first numerical transformer differential protection relay in 1981. Now, building on our 100-year history of developing protection relays, we have used proven algorithms to ensure reliable performance. Hence, we have listened to the changing needs of our customers by introducing Reyrolle 5 in 2019. Now, I think that's enough for the history lessons. Now, what are you looking at is our 4 pillars of protection and automation portfolio, which provides a complete solution for a well-established smart infrastructure. At this point, I would like to emphasize our dual brand strategy for the protection. You see here Cyprotec and Reyrolle. We respect that there are several kinds of needs in transmission, distribution, and generation fields in different voltage levels for different industry areas. While the protection is the sole purpose of all those devices, we should also make sure to answer all necessary features efficiently. Protection functions may differ. Automation complexity depends. Versatility versus streamlined approach. So Cyprotec and Reyrolle are designed for different fields depending on the requirements. Of course, it's possible to see some overlapping areas, but that's why Siemens has a customer support team to help you with the decision. Therefore, we are proud of both Cyprotec and Reyrolle as part of our protection portfolio. Now, coming to Reyrolle 5 portfolio, Reyrolle 5 range includes a number of flexible devices which target specific applications. 7SR5.1 is overcurrent feeder protection. 7SR5.4 is transformer protection. And 7SR5.7 is motor protection. Now, if we talk about generation, you can rely on a 7SR5.1 with direction element to protect and manage your medium voltage level in a generation field confidentially and confidently. Or a 7SR5.4 will meet your criteria for a step-up transformer protection efficiently. Well, if we talk about distribution, 7SR5.1 again has a comprehensive functionality range with non-directional and directional variations for all distribution applications. You can protect, monitor, and manage your power distribution network while keeping an advanced cybersecurity level. Also, 7SR5.4 is designed for all distribution level transformer applications. If we talk about industry and infrastructure, so this is the point where 7SR5.7 joins with the other 2 brothers, while 7SR5.1 provides all the necessary feeder protection and management for all loads in your industrial power network. 7SR5.4 takes care of your transformer, and 7SR5.7 is designed and developed to meet what an efficient motor protection solution is supposed to provide in an industrial level. Now, let's go a little bit further with the details. As a standard, all listed protection functionalities and major Ethernet communication protocols are included as standard. All Reyrolle protection relays, including Reyrolle 5 and with all other Reyrolle portfolio actually, are enabled to serve all the protection functions that the chosen hardware is capable of. So once you choose the hardware, you will have all the functions listed dedicated to that hardware configuration at all. You don't choose anything else. So, and all your power system summary, such as event records, fault records, waveform records, and real-time measurements, and including the circuit breaker monitoring data, are standard to support effective management of your power network. And of course, cybersecurity is a core feature of Reyrolle 5 devices with digitally signed firmware, encrypted communications, user access control, and security logging, helping to protect against today's digital dangers. The user-friendly, intuitive design provides practical experience to the user, and this extends to the Reyrolle programming software tools. Both the software and fascia provide the user with an intuitive interface, the large LCD and tactile push buttons, including the circuit breaker control buttons, supported direct management. This reduces the training requirement and provides a cost-effective solution. You will realize with pleasure that choosing a Reyrolle 5 for your needs and management of firmware upgrades are surprisingly easy to proceed when it is compared to all comprehensive functionalities and features. You just download the firmware, upload to the device, and that's it. Even further, Reyrolle 5 has withdrawable construction concept as a tradition for an easy product replacement. So not only Reyrolle 5, but also all the other Reyrolle portfolio since the beginning actually have withdrawable construction. And we tried our best to keep the device variants at minimum. As a result, current and voltage transformer inputs, power supply units, and binary inputs cover the full operating range. All binary input thresholds can be configured individually. Now, these are the summary, actually. So let's take a look at the features in more detail. Now we have come to 7SR5.1. Now 7SR5.1 offers for the feeder protection applications. And we examine in two main variants here with non-directional and directional variant. The Reyrolle 5.1.10 devices provide primary function of overcurrent and earth fault protection functionality for medium voltage substations, as well as backup protection for other protection devices. For example, it may be in a line feeder, transformer, generator, motor, or busbar protection system, supporting the main protection, while you can keep 7SR5.1.10 as the backup feeder protection. The 4CT input is suitable for connection to both 1 amp and 5 amp current transformer secondary windings. It includes a core range of functions as standard. Again, I would like to emphasize this. Whatever functionality you see here on this table, those are all included as standard as far as the necessary hardware is chosen. Instantaneous and time-delayed overcurrent protection functions are 50 and 51. These protection functions provide three-phase overcurrent and calculated earth fault. Calculated earth fault is determined from the sum of the three-phase currents and uses the suffix n, as you see, 50n, and after the function number. Measures earth fault protection, which is slightly different from calculated earth fault protection, is directly measured from a neutral CT or residual connection to three line CTs, and it uses the suffix g after the function number. So the measured earth fault is 50n, for example, and calculated earth fault protection is 50n, and measured earth fault protection is 50g. And high-speed intermittent and sensitive earth fault protections are 50GHS, 50GI, and 50GS. It has also a user configurable automatically closing function, 7 to 9, or shortly, auto reclose. This provides flexible, independent, automatically closing sequences for the three-phase unearthed faults, restoring power flow after transient network faults. When a 7SR5 is used as a backup protection for transformer protection solution, let's say, restricted earth fault protection is also available. 87GH stands for high impedance, and 87NL stands for low impedance depending on the application required. So you can both apply high impedance and low impedance restricted earth fault. Just you can choose. To complete your application, all Reyrolle 5 devices has the option for direct arc flash detection inputs with high-speed tripping contacts for fast clearance when arc faults are detected in your switchgear. And again, all Reyrolle 5 devices has the option for direct temperature sensor inputs. And they are connected to sensors in the plant. And 7SR5111 are directional overcurrent and earth fault relays. The main difference to CT-only version is to 7SR5110 by means of hardware is VT input. So you have CT plus VT here. So this brings the directional element to all applicable functions and enables the other voltage-based functionalities, as you can see in the table. With the directional element and all voltage-based functionalities, 7SR5111 is designed to use in interconnected systems for medium voltage level. There is also a 5CT variant as 7SR5121, and you may have already realized that there's a power transformer in the concept scheme. With the 5th CT, these are typically used in transformer circuits, as you can, for example, apply a single device, a completely, oops, sorry, the lights. So with a 5th current transformer input, you can use a single device which provides measured standby earth fault protection of transformer earthing resistors. In addition to high impedance earth fault protection, overcurrent, and calculated earth fault protection, you can also apply a measured standby earth fault protection to the transformer earthing resistors at the same time with single device. Measured and calculated earth fault protection elements provide a flexible solution when both earth fault and sensitive earth fault current detection approaches are required. With the addition of voltage inputs, the device has all of the associated protection functions. Likewise, 67 directional overcurrent protection, which allows each overcurrent and short circuit stage to be set to forward or reverse direction. 27 undervoltage and 59 overvoltage protection, or 78 VA vector shift, 81O and 81U over and under frequency protection functions, and also 81R frequency rate of change protection functions are available as standard. 32 power protection can also be used as overpower or underpower protection, depending on the setting you choose inside the software. And each stage can be set to non-directional, forward or reverse directional. So it's quite a flexible thing to choose. In addition to those protection functions, there are also the impedance-based functions. So 21FL fault locator and 21LB load blinder, yes. And as a last remark, I would like to emphasize that 79 auto reclosure and 25 synchrocheck functions are always included as standard. Depending on the I/O quantity and composition, 7SR5 protection relays are available in all three sizes, size 6, size 8, or size 12, of course, coming from smaller to larger. Now, switch to 7SR5 which is our transformer protection relay. And we examine it in two main variants, 2 winding and 3 windings. So we are just looking at the 2 winding solution now. The device provides differential protection for reactors and motors as well. Of course, it is mainly used for transformer protection. Now we are looking at the overall functionality of 7SR5 for 2 winding variant. It's also possible to choose a CT only or CT and VT included version depending on your requirements of the application. But it has 8 CT inputs, which are again suitable for 1 amp or 5 amp current transformer windings. 8070 transformer differential protection function has 2 algorithms for differential fault for different fault stages, biased and high set. So 8070 BD stands for biased differential protection, which has 2 bias stages. First stage is for steady state errors like tough situations, and the second stage is for transient errors like CT saturation, in other words, overfluxing. 8070 HS stands for high set differential protection, so it provides a fast protection for high internal fault currents. I mean the real faults here. And 24 overexcitation protection detects excess core flux density, which causes overheating. And again, our frequency protections here on the substation incomer transformer can be used to initiate load shedding of the connected load, especially with 81R frequency rate of change functionality. This ability can complete system-wide load shedding application. As expected, 7SR5 can control the 2 circuit breakers in both sides. And of course, 25 synchro check function can also be applied, for example, on the downstream circuit breaker. 7SR542 is available in 2 case forms, size 8 and size 12. Now, coming to the 3 winding version, 7SR543 is our 3 winding version. Again, it is available to choose a CT only version or CT and VT version, depending on the requirement. It has 12 CT inputs, which are suitable for connection to both 1 amp and 5 amp again. Now, including all the functions and features of its 2 winding variant, 7SR543 devices provide comprehensive protection for 3 winding transformers. So the relay also provides differential protection for auto transformers. 87GH and 87NL, meaning restricted earth fault protection, low impedance and high impedance, can be applied for all 3 windings at the same time and individually. This is also available for 7SR42 for 2 winding variants. So you can apply restricted earth fault for each of these windings at the same time individually without disturbing any other. And of course, plus the overall differential protection is in operation. As it is a 3 winding solution, you will appreciate that 7SR543 is available in size 12 casing, our biggest case. Now let's look at motor protection. Once again, we will examine this relay in 2 main sections, depending on simplicity. Now 7SR5710 provides functions designed to protect all motors starting and running sequences. It has 4 CT inputs, which are suitable for connection to both 1 amp and 5 amp current transformer secondary windings. Thermal algorithms are important here. thermal algorithms are optimized to closely match the thermal characteristics of motors. 49M, motor thermal overload protection, has operation curves of the thermal algorithm. The calculation considers effective present loading and prior loading and unbalanced currents on the motor operating temperature. Starting and cooling constants modify the thermal characteristics during motor run-up and stopped conditions. And also, a user-definable thermal curve is also selectable to allow matching of the relay thermal characteristic to all motor and cooling system types. Now, 14, locked rotor protection, for example, uses different time overcurrent elements to monitor motor start conditions. Or 48, starting time supervision. This allows the motor starting time to be monitored and output is raised if the start time exceeds the setting. Now you see a function called number of starts, which is ANSI code 66. This monitors the motor starting points. This function provides settings to control both the number of times that motor can be started within a specified time period and the also minimum time to wait between the starts. Motor starting can be inhibited, of course, when the user-defined limit is reached, depending on the motor characteristics or, let's say, thermal limitations. Now, 7SR5, this has 4 CT inputs and 4 VT inputs, which allow additional functionality over 7SR5, of course. And also, there is another version here, 7SR5, It has 8 CT inputs, which can provide motor differential protection. So what you see here is 7SR5, but in the list, there is, you can see a 87M motor differential protection, but actually, this is for 7SR5, not 11. But this is only the difference in between 2 versions. So it's listed here instead of having another slide here. So with the addition of the voltage inputs, the device has all the associated protection functions. 27 undervoltage protection can be used to disconnect the motor in the event of a low terminal voltage. And as a frequency measure, 81B backspin monitor function makes sure the attempted starting of the motor is inhibited until after the motor has completely stopped. Now I would like to summarize the significant points of how 7SR5 relays handle the recorded data. Now you see event log. 7SR5 relays can store 5,000 events at 1 millisecond resolution. And when it comes to waveform records, well, all analog waveform records can be accessed via local interface through the software or via IC61850 in contract file format. You can pull the contract file format over IC61850. And fault location. All 7SR5 devices with directional overcurrent functionality, or in other words, voltage inputs. Those devices have 21FL fault locator available as standard. And plant data logs, tripping counters, and wear calculations for circuit breaker help the user to estimate plant maintenance. And of course, the metering values. All measurements can be viewed remotely via browser-based web UI. Okay, now we are coming to an important topic, cybersecurity. When it comes to cybersecurity, Reyrolle 5 devices have several measures to maintain a secure system environment. The data transfer between the device and the communication partner, which can be software, the configuration software, or any other browser. So this is performed via secure authenticated channel. This prevents reading or writing data by an unauthorized program. The accessing communication partner can be the Radius Manager 2 software via DTLS or Web UI via HTTPS on an ordinary browser like Edge, like Chrome. Only digital signed firmware can be downloaded to the device, which prevents corruptions from outside by viruses or Trojans. For example, an attack by a manipulated firmware file package or man-in-the-middle attack. The 7SR5 device provides user authentication using a connection password and maintenance password. Those passwords conform to the cybersecurity requirements for assigning passwords defined in NERC-CIP. Protection firmware and communication firmware are also separated for a more secure firmware management. Cybersecurity-related events like login attempts or device records are recorded and optionally transmitted to a central server via standardized syslog UDP protocol. So you just only enter an IP address. It's actually a redundant IP address inside the software. You upload the configuration, and that's it. All the security-related logs are recorded and sent to syslog UDP protocol via syslog UDP protocol automatically all the time to the defined IP addresses. And here we go, another section now. Now we claim that we have low life cycle costs. How do we do it? The large graphical display makes it easier to view the device information and all recorded data. Each 7SR5 device has configurable 28 indication LED with green, red, and orange colors. And the label can easily be modified and replaced. It's just a paper, and we have the blank template on our website. All 7SR5 devices use the standard rec size 4U8. Front protection rating is IP54 and rear rating is IP20. Additionally, any 7SR5 relay have the option of conformal coating, which provides a full protection of all the internal circuits. Alongside the tactile push buttons to access the device, there are also open and close buttons dedicated to circuit breaker controlling. Now, more detail about low life cycle cost here. And let's have a closer look at the front face. As you can see, there are 7 push buttons here, 5 of which are used for navigation inside the fascia menu to have a full control on the device. What I mean by full control is that you can navigate through all the device settings, device status information such as binary input, binary output, and LED status and communication status. But also, it is possible to check all the process records such as events, faults, pickups. But again, full control here. So what is more, the user can change all the settings of the protection configurations inside the fascia. So for example, after entering the predefined settings password, the menu allows you to change any threshold value of any protection configuration. or enabling or disabling the protection functions at all. So you don't need the configuration software once the relay is initiated and started. The menu is simple and button integration to the menu is intuitive. Therefore, this provides low training requirements to the users. The LED labels, again, can easily be changed by just opening the small plastic door and swapping the paper templates with the new one. The LED template is available at the internet sites. I think there was a question regarding this. There are 28 configurable LEDs in every 7SR5 relay. One of these LEDs is set to device healthy by default, which we recommend to leave it as it is. And all the other 27 LEDs belong to the user to indicate all available signals produced by the relay. The user is able to set the color of any individual LED to red, green, or orange, depending on the required message type. So if it's a strip, just set the LED 3 as red, and if it is only an indication of reaching overload, you can set it as orange or whatever you need. Now, all 7SR5 relays are equipped with a backlit 128 cross 128.lcd with text and single line diagram display capability. Via Redis Manager 2, it is possible to add 5 user configurable display screens for single line diagrams, all analog measurements, and all defined alarms and indications. So you can see single line diagram in the first screen and measurements in the second screen, and some pickups or trips or any other indication you decide in the following other screens. There is also a feature called favorite instruments, which is also described by a video outside this presentation, and this allows the user to choose the most necessary measurements set out of the all available predefined measurement displays. So there are already many measurements, and you can choose any favorite one, and you can set it on a hot button inside the first menu item inside the fascia, and you can access fast. And of course, the single line diagram allows the user to control the switching device via navigation buttons and the 2 circuit breaker control buttons provided. Now, the Reyrolle 5 series has a strong product lifecycle management and experience on the background to maintain a reliable and efficient life cycle. Our manufacturing facility is proven by ISO 9001 certificate and other environmental ISO assessments. Easy ordering by only choosing the circuit transformer secondary type, sizing the required I/O structure, and Ethernet communication interface. So these all provide a single comprehensive function pack and universal power supply unit as standard. So you choose only I/O structure, your Ethernet type, and good to go. As I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, there are more than 500,000 numerical relays in operation worldwide, and this is the proof of our experience. Now, 7SR5 series are implemented a proven library of protection algorithms to avoid any adventure and reducing the risks. Now, sorry for this ugly slide, but it is the fact. Now, a key feature of the Reyrolle 5, which is common throughout the Reyrolle brand, is the ability to easily remove the device from its case without disturbing the wiring and shortening the CT secondary terminals. So this allows quick and easy, safe installation and removal of devices, enabling a fast product replacement in service. The relay element is secured by locking levers and retaining screws. So you have the front screws and one at the rear. The Reyrolle protection devices are available in 3 case forms, which are suitable for panel or rack mounting. You see here size 6, size 8 in the middle, and size 12 on the right-hand side. The case size is determined by the number of binary inputs and outputs, and all additional arc flash input module and temperature sensor inputs. Now, I would like to summarize the versatility Reyrolle 5 devices provide as standard. See, as I said before, this is a summary after all. The CT inputs are suitable for connection to both 1 amp and 5 amp of current transformer secondary windings, while the user is able to use the high-speed USB communication port for device configuration. The fascia allows the user to view and edit all the function settings inside the relay without the need for a PC and configuration software. And all 7SR5 devices have dual-link Ethernet communication port as standard. The user needs to choose only the interface type as either RJ45 electrical or optical, and this provides all IC61850 Modbus TCP and the MP3 TCP as standard at the same time. The 7SR5 relays serves both IC61850 together with Modbus TCP and the MP3 TCP at the same time. So let's assume a substation with a local SCADA which uses Modbus TCP. So 7SR5 will serve to this local SCADA via Modbus TCP, and let's assume a central control center far away from this substation, and it communicates through IC61850. So the same 7SR5 device will communicate through Modbus TCP to local SCADA and communicate through IC61850 to the control center. It's all possible. Or you can choose the MP3 TCP at the same time instead of Modbus TCP. And the redundancy types for IC61850 are RSTP, meaning ring type, or PRP or HSR. These are all supported for a full communication reliability. The rear serial RS485 port provides all major serial communication types. No need to mention them at all. Well, all these communication protocols are supplied as standard in all models and capable of operating at the same time. Both serial ports, both Ethernet communication, and as I said now, you can operate with IC61850 bundled with Modbus TCP and the MP3 TCP. And you have the universal power supply. And the range is 24 volt DC to 250 volt DC, or when it comes to AC, it's 100 volt AC to 230 volt AC. And it, of course, operates both 50 and 60 hertz. And all binary input thresholds are configurable inside the software individually. So you can choose binary input to operate as a 24 volt DC input, and you can choose binary input 10 to operate as 110 volt DC input individually, and all the circuits is completely independent. There are no commons. So electrically and by software wise, everything is isolated. Now, an important part of 7SR5 to complete the protection application. The 7SR5 devices have the option for direct arc flash detection inputs. with high-speed tripping open contacts for fast clearance when arc fault detected in the enclosed switchgear. So this is optional hardware, but again, you don't choose any functionality, you just add the hardware module at the beginning, of course. The optional, what I call is AFD. The optional AFD module provides 3 arc flash detector inputs, which can be connected to point type or linear type sensors. The module comes with 3 high-speed normally open binary outputs as standard. These outputs are independent from each other for a maximum flexibility in the circuit design. Actually, all binary outputs, all binary inputs, and almost all binary outputs are independent from each other when it comes to 7SR5. The module provides a separate self-monitoring feature as well. So this gives an output indication in the event of a failure, which is quite unlikely, hopefully. The operation modes provided are light only or light and overcurrent check. So the user can configure depending on the requirement. For example, in light only mode, the whole operation from arc fault detection to output contact making can be as fast as 6 milliseconds when a high-speed output is used. So let's talk about temperature sensor inputs. Again, for complete protection application, especially for transformers and motors, 7SR5 devices have the option for temperature sensor inputs for connecting to temperature sensors on the field. We call it TSI as an abbreviation. The TSI module supports a wide range of RTD and thermistor sensor types available on the market. And the TSI module is available for all 7SR5 devices optionally with 8 temperature sensor inputs. But exclusively for 7SR57, the motor protection relay, the TSI module is available with 16 temperature sensor inputs. And this 16 input type module is available for only in size 12. So we thought that you get all the protection functionalities when you have the hardware. So it is up to choosing the hardware. So let's choose the hardware. So when you choose the 7SR5 overcurrent protection relay, you will have the option of choosing 4 or 5 current transformers inputs, depending on the requirement. And you can choose the CT only version or CT plus 4 VT voltage transformer inputs as well. Now it has up to 39 binary inputs and 20 binary outputs as available. 3 binary outputs can be provided as high-speed binary outputs separately from arc sensor inputs. So you have 3 high-speed binary outputs in normal binary output set. And if you choose to add arc sensor, arc flash detector module, then you will have an extra 3 high-speed outputs inside the arc module, which makes 6 at total. Alongside the binary input and outputs, additional AFD and TSI modules are available to add the hardware configuration. So you should choose, depending on the binary input, output, AFD, and TSI module selections, the case forms will be size 6, size 8, or size 12. And when it comes to 7SR5 for transform protection, again, the same mentality is valid here, with, of course, exclusive selection for transformers. for 2 winding, 8 current transformer inputs, and for the 3 winding transformer protection, it will be 12 current transformer inputs. Again, it is possible to choose CT only version or CT plus VT version. The maximum quantity of binary inputs is 37 and binary output is 18, including the healthy status contact. And the 7SR5 port is available in 2 case forms depending on the I/O structure, the size 8 and size 12. Now, lastly, motor protection, 7SR5.7. This device comes with 4 or 8 current transformer inputs depending on the requirement for motor differential protection. And again, CT only and CT plus VT version. Maximum binary input quantity is 29 and maximum binary output is 16. Exceptionally again, for only 7SR5.1 with size 12, TSI module is available with 16 inputs, with 16 temperature sensor inputs. The others will have 8 temperature sensor inputs. So 16 temperature sensor inputs are exclusive for 7SR5.7 for large motor applications. And so, as a result, we have 3 case forms available for 7SR5.7, size 6, size 8, and size 12. Now, Reyrolle Manager 2. Of course, it allows the user to configure and commission all Reyrolle 5 devices supporting both local communication and, of course, this is via USB port or remotely via Ethernet port. And important point here, Reyrolle Manager is completely free of charge and can be downloaded from our web server. Now, while we are almost completing our tutorial today, I would like to summarize the key benefits and advantages of Reyrolle 5 devices. First of all, Reyrolle 5 devices are designed in a compact design with low product lifecycle costs. And the device has 6 language options. You can select using the menu on the front of the device. The supported languages are English, German, Turkish, Spanish, Portuguese, and French. And there's a plan to add more languages. So let's get this over because we told it several times. Simple product ordering. Of course, choosing the right configuration and ordering is quite simple. As you see, you just choose the necessary hardware and all other functionalities are included as standard. And all Reyrolle 5 devices come with major communication protocols as standard like IC61850, Modbus TCP, DMP3 TCP, supporting SNCP and IEEE 1588 PTP time synchronization standards. So this is the last summary of advantages I told up to now. Let's see if I missed anything. Yes, the mimic editor. Of course, for a single line diagram, there's a dedicated mimic editor. And of course, browser-based web UI. So I think all the information you need is accessible via these links provided, and this presentation will be shared as well. So thank you very much for sharing your time with us today. And please keep in mind that we are always pleased to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ozan. Very interesting session on Reyrolle 7SR5 Essentials. We've had a number of questions during the session, so I'll read each question aloud. Hopefully you can answer them. If you wonder who MM or TA are, I can only see initials, not full names. Okay, so the first question we have that is some KR. They are asking if we can provide a blank LED template instead of, so that our current template that's available already has some of the fields filled in.
As far as I know, a blank template is available at our website. We should provide this, of course. So let's take a note for this to make it more visible if it is available. And I don't know the background capabilities here with this interface, but we will also send if it is possible.
Okay,
So
thank you, Ozan. So our second question is from CA. It said, "Dear Ozan, great presentation. The 7SR5 works well for broken conductor detection, or does it work well for broken conductor detection like series fault with high impedance?"
I can't get it clear, but I think you mean broken conductor detection works for high impedance. Yes, it works. It works actually. Actually, it works on the parallel. So the algorithm works as a parallel measure while working with high impedance. So, but 7SR5, 110, yes. Yes, it works. But for the details, we need to take note, and because there are several questions here, we will send a detailed description for you. And the next.
Thank you, Ozan. Okay, so our next question, we've got a couple of questions from TG. So the first one is, are Reyrolle protection devices applicable for one-phase AC traction power supply networks? What about 16.7 Hertz traction power supply networks?
Yes, I know what you mean, but for railway applications, especially with the incomers or just after the two-pole transformer, you mean, unfortunately, we can't provide this feature because 16.7 has traction power supply. It requires some other hardware, and currently 7SR5 is targeted for distribution level on power networks. Sorry for this.
Thank you, Ozan. I apologize, TG. I'm going to leave your second question just because it's going to be quite difficult to read out because you've got settings and things in there. But Ozan, I'm sure I'll reply to you. Reply to the question.
We will definitely reply to those questions. Yes, quite technical and detailed, but yes, these are all answerable questions. Quite yes, no problem at all. Okay, we will just answer this separately.
Yeah. So the next question we've got is from NR, and it says, "Hi Ozan, a very informative presentation. My query is that what is the roadmap for implementation of RBAC and process bus applications?"
Now, yes, RBAC is in the pipeline of our R&D. Actually, they have started the early phase, so it will be implemented definitely. I can't tell the roadmap right now, as you may respect that it is inside the R&D. I can't go any further about that, but at least it is in our consideration and pipeline, and it's a very early phase. And regarding process bus applications, currently, because of our dual brand strategy, it is exclusive for Sprotec 5 series currently. There is no consideration for process bus applications right now.
Thank you, Ozan. Okay, next question is from CL or CLK. So they're saying that the 7SR relays are very good overall. They like the functionalities and performance in the field. They use currently the 7SR11 and 7SR12. They're saying they've got problems with the screen tending to fade away or text becoming fuzzy over time. They're not sure if that's due to the environment. Obviously, it's a completely different screen that we use with the 7SR5 relays. Do we know if that issue that they have suffered has been addressed with this new platform?
Well, as far as I know, nobody had any problems regarding the display up to now. So it has been 4 years since the first Reyrolle 5 device has been installed on a field, and nobody has complained about the display up to now. It's quite bright. Actually, yes, much more brighter than 7SR11 and 12, because of quite obvious that it's a graphical display. I don't know if any of you had some problem, but we are not aware of any problems yet.
Thank you, Ozan. Okay, another question we've got from NR. If Reyrolle is publishing data on IEC 61850, then what is the maximum number of clients to which the data can be published to?
Well, there is a recent update, because so I can't tell the correct number right now. I would like to keep this to a later report for you, please, because I don't want to tell a wrong number here.
Okay, thank you, Ozan. I think that's all we have time for. Thanks for your questions, and thank you, Ozan, for taking the time to answer them. We had another few questions that will be answered via email, and if questions come to mind later, just contact our specialists and they'll try to get back to you as soon as they're able. The access to the recording and slides will be sent to all participants. It has been my pleasure for me to guide you through this session on Reyrolle 7SR5 Essentials. I'm looking forward to meeting you soon in one of our next webinars. See you there. Take care and goodbye.
Thank you very much. Take care.